All right. Well, first off, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's very exciting because we are going to be sharing the playbook for record-breaking sales on Neighborhood Pet Store Day. And we are being joined by a very special speaker today to really share those amazing insights. So let's get into it. But before we do, I would love to introduce and share with all of you here today about the Pet Industry Network, as we are kindly hosting this in partnership with Matt Aldrich. So the Pet Industry Network, you may have seen us around before, especially if we saw you in person last year in Super Zoom, the orange shirts here at one of our pop-up events. We are a collaborative group of trusted and experienced experts that are really dedicated to helping pet businesses like yours grow smarter across every area of business, whether we're talking about operations or hiring or branding and marketing and beyond. And whether you're a brand or retailer, like most of you here in the room, since this is a session special for you guys, maybe even a service provider that carries some retail or a manufacturer, our goal truly is to connect you with people and strategies that actually move the needle. So if you're not already familiar with the Pet Industry Network, we're going to go ahead and drop a link inside the chat so that you can check us out in the meantime. And I am super excited to be introducing our guest speaker and pin expert today. We are being joined by Matt Aldrich of Pet Engine Marketing, and he really knows independent pet retail inside and out. He actually got his start behind the counter at a local pet shop, and he's spent the last 12 plus years helping small stores as well as mid-size just like yours, grow their visibility and their traffic, their sales with strategies that are both creative and doable with a small team. You see, he understands that indie pet retailers like yourselves are already wearing so many hats in your business. And that's why he specializes in simple and strategic marketing that actually works even if you're low on time or staff or budget. Matt, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to dig into things with you today for today's discussion. Anything else you'd like to share?
I am super excited to be here. I appreciate that intro. You set it way better than I ever would have. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a mission of mine for the last 12 years or so to work with pet retailers around the country. You might have seen me speak before at places like Pet Summit, Global Pet Expo, Super Zoo, other webinars with Astro or Pet Boss Nation. All of these are events where I really focus on helping pet businesses like yours stand out online and offline. So no, I'm super excited to chat about this today. Neighborhood Pet Store Day is such an awesome initiative, and it's 37 days away, so we really have no time to waste. It's coming right up.
Fantastic. So let's briefly look at what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be emphasizing why Neighborhood Pet Store Day matters for your business. And we're going to talk about strategies that actually bring customers in the doors into your store. And then Matt is going to share the ultimate playbook for marketing for Neighborhood Pet Store Day and some tips for overcoming any roadblocks to success and how you can get started today with simple, easy steps. All right. So before we get into all that juicy content, I'm going to let Matt take the lead on taking a poll and a pulse from the group on a couple of questions so that we can best tailor today's discussion to you based on where you're at.
Yeah, today is, guys, just a webinar. We don't have, this big presentation planned. It's really just going to be Yolanta and I sharing some ideas and some thoughts around how you can maximize Neighborhood Pet Store Day. A lot of what we talk about today can also be used to help out other events that are happening inside your store. So on a scale of 1 to 5, if you could put in the chat, how critical are in-store events to your annual sales plan? So many 4s and 5s. That's awesome. 4 plus, 4 or 5. 6, love that. Okay. I would say the overwhelming majority here is 4 or 5. So we're saying that they are extremely important or mission critical to the annual sales plan. Guys, I love to hear that. More on that in a bit here. In a few words, please type in the chat. What do you think your #1 roadblock is to really generating ROI or return on investment from your in-store events? Marketing, that's a good one. It's a good thing we're in here today, Deborah. Event space, getting people to show up, value props to drive traffic, time, yeah, space, getting word out, competition, understanding what's effective in terms probably from a marketing perspective or like what people actually pay attention to or think are important. That's good. Need to do more events, even though they're already successful and huge, but just have to do more. That's awesome too. Weather, yeah, weather's a tough one, right? Not a whole lot we can do about the weather. But okay, marketing, creativity, space, time, a lot of obstacles and roadblocks here. Understood. We're definitely going to touch on all of those in I think section 4 or 5 of this webinar. So appreciate that, guys. Okay, last question. Neighborhood Pet Store Day is 37 days away. How prepared do you guys feel? Number 1, you haven't started. Number 2, pieces are in motion. Number 3, you're ready to rock and roll. Some 1s and 2s, lots of 1s, a few more 2s. I haven't seen a 3 yet. Have you seen a 3 yet, Yolanta? Guys, I love how busy the chat is. Love it, love it, love it. Lots of 1s and 2s, okay. All right, great. So I think everyone here is in the right room, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe not by the end of this webinar, but maybe by a week from today or like 10 days from today, if you're at a 1, you're feeling like you're at a 2, and if you're at a 2, you're much closer to a 3 than you were before.
Awesome. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get this rolling. If you have any questions as we go through it, we're going to leave time at the end for live questions. So go ahead, drop them inside the chat as they come, and it will actually make it a lot easier for us to find them if you put a letter Q in front of that question. That way we can easily grab it for you and make sure that it gets answered during the session at the end, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that we can have this really engaging and exciting conversation with all of you here today. And the first thing that we're going to go into, Matt, I would love for you to share with everyone in the room, especially considering Neighborhood Pet Store Day is a relatively new initiative. How has it become such a big deal for independent retailers?
So yeah, this is I think the 3rd year that Neighborhood Pet Store Day will be occurring. So it's actually relatively new since its inception. And I actually don't feel like it's big enough. We still speak with retailers that don't have plans for it, or they don't feel like it's a big day, and that they don't, make it a big day, make it a big deal. So it's on its way up. I think the data backs it, that it can be extremely successful for retailers when it's marketed well and promoted well. But as far as like how big it is, I mean, I think of it as like a couple, primarily like in relation to Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, which happened like 2 months later, right? The thing about Black Friday and Small Business Saturday is you're competing with every single other retailer, not just the ones that are in pet, right? Not just your Chewies, your Amazons, your Petcos, your PetSmarts, but you're fighting for attention and time in your store with every single other retailer. And that's just for like the in-store presence, right? When it comes to digital advertising and like your marketing dollars, they simply don't go as far during Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, because lots of these bigger businesses that have, $1 million marketing departments and multi-million-dollar marketing budgets, they've actually saved a lot of that budget, a huge percentage of it, for specifically the holiday season, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. It's incredibly competitive around that time of year. And Neighborhood Pet Store Day happens to fall just a little bit before it, and is like uniquely dedicated just to our indie retailers that we love and appreciate so much. So I want it to be a bigger deal. I'm trying to bring more attention to it, to the opportunity that is available to retailers, and just make it even more important in their eyes so that they can really capitalize on the opportunity that is available to them. Because regularly I'm seeing in like the Pets Plus Facebook group or the Pet Boss Club Facebook group, even among our own clients, like that it is a huge sales day. And you can have a huge Neighborhood Pet Store Day, you can break records on that, as well as have like a huge Black Friday Small Business Saturday. You don't have to choose one or the other. So want it to be a bigger day than it is.
Absolutely. And we have actually someone resonating in the chat. Haley mentioned this has been her number one revenue day of the year over any other shopping holiday due to exactly what you mentioned regarding attention not being stretched, right? So,
Definitely.
building off of that, you're making some really good points as to why retailers should add it to their promotional calendar. What's the risk or, the opportunity cost if a retailer skips it or doesn't promote it properly?
Well, you miss out on a sales day, of course. You miss out on like a big opportunity to have record-breaking sales, or at least one of your biggest days of the year. But I also would argue, like, almost as important as that is like, if you don't promote it properly, if people don't know about it and it kind of goes unrecognized, you really miss out on an opportunity to connect with your customers and continue to develop or build customer loyalty. The offers that are available on Neighborhood Pet Store Day through Astro are really just like a piece of the puzzle, you know. I think of Neighborhood Pet Store Day truly as a day where indie retailers can be celebrated with their local communities and like their customers. So because it can be this community celebration, right? The deals and offers that retailers don't even like lose money for because it's all rebated through Astro. All of that stuff is icing on the cake, in my opinion. But if you can turn this day into something that is more than just deals, more than just savings, turn it into this experiential thing that you can use to connect with customers, that your customers can use to experience with their pets. To me, that is like the most beautiful thing that retailers bring to the world is that opportunity to share an experience with their pet inside the store. And if you miss out on that, that's why I'm like such a strong believer in in-store events. You know, I think they're like the primary differentiator between what people can experience or get through Chewy and Amazon when they buy their products online. Like it is really what sets you guys apart as retailers is that you offer this thing in store. And it's not just a product, it's an experience. Whether that experience is like something fun with like your customers and their pet, or maybe it's the one-on-one attention that you and your staff give to every single customer and make them feel recognized, help them out with their problems, whether it's behavioral or nutritional, whatever it is, like this one-to-one connection is what happens inside indie retail stores. And it is very difficult to mimic or replicate that online. And like I'm not like presenting some new idea here. Like Chewy and Amazon totally understand this. That's why they kind of gamify it through subscriptions and things like that. But it is really difficult to do what you guys do in store online.
100%. So when we're talking about, these experiences and offers, what kinds have you seen really drive foot traffic on Neighborhood Pet Store Day in particular?
So I think it does apply to other days as well. But when I think about like neighborhood pet store day or maybe like a customer appreciation day, like when you really want to celebrate people and celebrate community and the people and pets that like actually make your business run, there's a handful of things that we always go back to when we work with our clients on promoting a big day or a big event like that. First, let's just get the easy one out of the way. That's going to be the offers, right? So if anyone here doesn't know about Astro or you are not already like signed up for their free offers program, I got to connect you with Kat Carbonaro at Astro. It is one of like the primary things that can set you guys apart from big box retailers. So you got to check out Astro Loyalty. Those offers through Astro are usually available just for Neighborhood Pet Store Day or maybe that weekend. So Friday, Saturday, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So beyond those offers, I would stack on that a little bit, right? So I would like try and bundle deals. So buy two, get a third free, or buy one, get one half off. Maybe spend 100, get a $25 gift card. I also really like doorbusters on community-based events like this. So what I mean by that is like you get a free tote bag or a free goodie bag full of samples for the first 25 or 50 customers. So if you want to have a really busy, really hectic start to your day, offer something for free for the first like 25 to 50 customers. Other than that, like there's so many different ways that you can liven up the store. And I really stress like the in-store experience, you know, because if all we do is sell products, then we're just a less convenient version of Amazon and Chewy, and that's not what we want to be as pet retailers. So the in-store experience, think about like a pet photo booth, which you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on this, right? Like you can get a backdrop, or maybe you get like a selfie stand. Maybe you do partner up with a local photographer. I like partnerships too. We'll talk about that in a minute. Parade, pet parades, that's free. Maybe it's like maybe you pay to enter into this pet parade, but the all of the proceeds go to a local animal rescue or shelter. Love that. People love a like a cause to get behind as well. I like demos. So if you can get any of your vendor sales reps in store, or maybe like a contest, like for dog tricks, no like professionals involved, right? But like if your dog can sit and shake and roll over, then yeah, enter the contest. Like let's have a little trick contest. I like a craft and DIY table too. So like decorate a dog treat, build a stuffable, maybe make a snuffle mat or something like that. And I actually just saw this recent idea, or kind of got this idea from Super Zoo. They had these guys. Like these are like a basic little notebook. And I was like, you could have a Polaroid on a table, and you take a photo, have a Polaroid there, have a little bit of tape, and it becomes like this pet journal, this dog journal, this memory journal, which I just thought was like a really cool, again, like super cheap idea, right? You don't have to spend thousands of dollars creating this in-store activation that can really benefit you. And it benefits you in a couple different ways. First, it makes the experience more fun. Second, it helps people stick around longer, so they start to like spend a little bit more time, a little bit more time shopping as well. And then third, it can help create user-generated content. So you want people to like have a ton of fun at your photo booth and create this memory journal, whatever they end up doing, but you want them to post it on social and tag you, and that gets spread to all of their friends and whatnot. A couple other ideas I have, giveaways, whether that is like a gift basket or sample bag, mystery bags, raffles, door prizes, things like that. Astro is going to have a ton of offers as well, of course, but other event day specials, like maybe you're doing, I don't know, 5 off a self-wash or $10 off a groom that day. Again, it helps them stick around in the store longer. If these customers start to experience more energy, they realize how busy it is. They're like, hey, what is going on? Even if they didn't already know about it. So the last thing I'll say is I really, really recommend a partnership of some sort. So I like to partner with local pet businesses. So things like rescues or shelters or other adoption orgs, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Like you could partner with trainers and groomers and whatnot, but you could also like partner with like a local brewery or a coffee shop next door, or even like local clubs and neighborhood associations, things like that. Like I don't think it has to be just other pet businesses. What you're really going for here is, again, a little bit more activity in store, but you want to get some cross promotion and co-marketing going on. Those types of businesses, especially if they're pet businesses, they should have an audience of pet parents. So if you can get them to sponsor this event or co-promote it, do some marketing for the event as well, you're reaching an entire audience of pet parents that might not be your existing customer base. So ton of opportunities in that alone.
I hope everybody in the room is taking notes because you are dropping gems left and right, top and bottom. And we actually had even Haley chime in before she had to log off, some feedback inside the chat as well. So, as Matt is sharing the strategies that are working for his clients that are generating that ROI, if anyone in the room wants to contribute to this discussion,
Please do.
please do, because information sharing is power. Absolutely. So building off of, we're talking about, all these different activations, and how we can help stores, stand out from the competition. So let's talk about, all the different factors involved in marketing, right? So having limited time or limited budget, where should they be focusing their promotional efforts?
That's the toughest question, right? Like you said, limited time, limited budget. all these other roadblocks that people mentioned in the chat earlier, which I think we can get to in a bit. We should have some time for that. I do also want to reiterate before we jump into marketing, which is like my favorite topic, and I can talk for hours on it. But before we jump into that, guys, please do share ideas and thoughts in the chat. The Facebook groups at like Pets Plus and Pet Boss Nation, what they facilitate over there is awesome. And I'm constantly like stealing ideas from other retailers and other industry experts. And I'm like, that is really awesome. I have this client where I feel like that would be a really great fit. So guys, that level of community among pet retailers, I think is really awesome. So definitely keep sharing some ideas. Super helpful. Okay, so let's talk about marketing for a big event like Neighborhood Pet Store Day. The biggest thing that I will say is you have to start now. Like it's 37 days away. And especially for all of the people that answered a 1 on that one question, like how prepared do you feel? We have to get started like today or tomorrow. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start like sending out social media content today and tomorrow, but you have to get the gears turning. The biggest thing that I think you need as well is you need a calendar to stay on track. Without that, like everything becomes a scramble. It's a last minute thing. And if you don't plan to promote something, if you just like decide on a promotion or a sale or an event the week of, it's probably going to flop because nobody knows about it because we didn't plan far enough ahead to do the marketing needed to get people to show up. So our normal process in working with retailers for a big event is like a lot of the promotional stuff online starts to happen about 3 to 4 weeks before. But I would say in store, it's not a bad idea to already be talking about it, already have some bag stuffers, already have maybe some in-store signage to just mentioning it to customers. Staff should really be trained on it and be inviting people to like kind of think about it initially, right? It's not too early for that at 37 days. They should be talking about that and they should be saying like, hey, we're gonna have this big event in about a month and a week, so 5 weeks, whatever. And we want everybody to come. It's a community-based celebration, so there will be a lot of giveaways, a lot of deals, and you'll hear all about it in social media, but I just wanted you to hear it from me first so that you could get the invite, you could get the scoop. Oh, also, I think like the first 25 customers are going to get a gift bag. So you should be one of those first 25 customers. So that should be happening now. Let's talk about like maybe 3 to 4 weeks before, right? So we're in September right now. I would send one marketing email right now that's like kind of like a save the date, right? Let's talk about like highlighting main offers and experiences that you think are going to happen in the store. You should also be posting on social around then. So if you haven't created like a Facebook event, definitely do that. Announce the event on social. You can do that with a graphic or like just taking a video, right? So like phone, screen, invite people. And then in store, like I said, you should definitely have some bag stuffers included already going. If you don't already have signage up, that's when I would start to rearrange some of the signage that is in store. So signage might look like one of those sandwich boards. Maybe that's inside or outside the store on the sidewalk. I would also have like one of those little easels by the register. That's all about the event, probably with a QR code to RSVP. That RSVP is probably going to go to the Facebook event. And then definitely bag stuffers. I think bag stuffers are like one of the cheapest, most underrated or little used marketing opportunities, and I have retailers that they'll put like 6 of them on a piece of paper. They'll print out like 50 of those in their in-store printer and cut them up themselves. Like they don't even bother going to a professional printer. They just do it, So that's like 3 or 4 weeks before. 2 weeks before, start to highlight like key offers. So this is like a really critical time, right? You're entering this really busy stage 2 weeks before the big day. I recommend sending segmented emails. So what I mean by that is like you've announced this event to your entire audience, but now I want to send an email that is way more targeted. Astro's marketing suite does make it pretty easy to do that. Like you can create a segment of your audience of people that have redeemed an offer from any brand in the past, right? So from or Primal, whatever it is, if they have redeemed one of those offers in the past, you can create an audience of that and then just send them one of that brand's neighborhood pet store days offers. The reason this works is it's much more personalized, right? Like you can create a subject line that's like, hey, we've got new Primal offers on Saturday 27th, RSVP. And that like gets people's attention much more effectively than if you just have like, hey, check out all of these offers. I've got 100, you know, like me personally, if I own a cat, like I don't care about these dog offers, right? So if we can segment these offers and send like much more relevant emails, I would do that. So I would segment by brand. That's one option. If you don't use the Astro Marketing Suite, see if you can export some of the data from like your point of sale system. And I would start to segment your audience by like sales category. So I'd probably ignore food because I think most people are stuck with specific brands for their food, but people that have purchased toys or people that have purchased treats, I think those are like slightly less sticky in terms of like creating customer loyalty. Like people just buy a treat that looks or smells nice, or they'll buy a toy that squeaks or is tough or whatever it is, you know? And if you have Astro offers for Neighborhood Pet Store Day on those specific things, then I would send that offer to those segments. Christine, you did say Astro is not easy to do bulk segmenting. I actually agree with you. Astro is not like this. It's not super duper perfect. It is just effective for this. You can make like a dozen different segments, you know, you just have to do it kind of one by one. And it sort of is what it is. So that's email. I would start doing that around 2 weeks before. Starting like on social media 2 weeks before, I would basically do a countdown, right? So 14 days to Neighborhood Pet Store Day, 13 days, 12 days. And in all of these things, you can highlight individual offers. You can highlight the other things that really are going into the day. So some of those experiences or partnerships or other offers that you might have going on, other giveaways, anything like that. Definitely like make sure your staff is talking about it at that point. They have to be inviting people at checkout. So now we're like, let's say we're getting into the last week or so, 5 to 7 days before. So this is like one of my most secret ideas. So I'm sharing it with all of you guys. I want you to send an email that is what I've titled a letter from the owner. Okay, you can change the sender address to maybe yours personally or the sender name to like your name specifically. So instead of it coming, like instead of the email coming from Pet Engine Marketing, it's coming from Matt Aldrich. And for a lot of you guys that have made personal relationships with your customers, or you feel like you're the face of your business, this email is going to have a huge, huge open rate. And I want this email to be text heavy. Don't really talk about offers in this. Include an image of yourself or like of staff or something like that, like the humans behind the business. And I really want like your tone to just be like, thanks for supporting us for the last X number of years. It would mean a lot if you came to celebrate with us on Neighborhood Pet Store Day. If you can personalize any of this information, like with like the pet's name, do that to help them like feel seen. But like this alone is such a killer. Like you'll get like 75% open rate. You just like pull on people's heartstrings. Like this really, really works really well. So send that like 5 to 7 days before Neighborhood Pet Store Day. So we're at like September 20th or so. Okay, so like 2 to 3 days before. And then the day of, 2 to 3 days before, you're just going to send another email. Okay, it's going to be like the full event preview. So we're talking offers, any scheduled stuff that you have, whether it's like photo booth is available then, or we're doing a parade here, or a live raffle drawing then. Any partners that you have. So rescue orgs, local photographer, holistic vet, whoever it is, add them in the email as well. Make sure that you're posting inside the Facebook event, because like the people that RSVP to that, they're more likely to see that content than if you just post on organic social. Organic social, like your posts are realistically getting seen by like 1 to 2% of your audience, but the people that do RSVP to that Facebook event, there's a higher percentage of people that actually do see that stuff. You can think about like boosting some of these posts, like promoting them on Meta. I would probably do that like maybe a week or two before, a couple days before. It feels like a little bit too late. I don't think you need to spend thousands of dollars on this either. I think you can be effective on a marketing boosted post, like boosting the event on like $50, $100. It does depend on your market a little bit, and like if you're in a really urban area or suburban or rural, but I don't think you have to spend like thousands of dollars on that. Okay, the last one is like your day of. So schedule out an email to be sent out at like, a couple hours before you open that day. And it's just like, today's the day, right? It's short, it's urgent. Highlight your offers, highlight everything that's special about the day. Social is where you're going to spend much more effort on the day of rather than email. So social media, I think it's a good idea to go live in the prep, live at certain times, like your busiest days. Maybe you go live, maybe there's like a line out the door and you like go live about that. If you're doing a raffle, you should go live for that. Anything behind the scenes, use Facebook and Instagram for stories or going live if you can, and really just like make that feel like it's something that people that see it, they're missing out on it and they need to show up. So you want to create FOMO if you can. So I know that was a lot of information, but I've been thinking about it, so I'm glad to finally get it out.
Well, that's awesome. And everything that you shared is really, a very practical approach in terms of a playbook, right? That everyone in the room can execute for Neighborhood Pet Store Day. So, you mentioned, as you said, a lot of different things. And we know from working with retailers how everyone in the room can feel overwhelmed juggling the social, the email, the in-store activations, and the partnerships. So, how do, especially when focusing on the ones that are going to move the needle most, how can they make sure that their effort pays off and actually measure that return on investment?
I'm such a geek when it comes to data and measurement, and I want all of you guys to become as geeky as I am about it. I think you can always look at like your bottom line metrics, or so like your number of tickets on that day or your revenue. Like those are going to be fairly straightforward, right? I think the other thing that I would look at is Astro can help you track the redemptions. So you'll see like how many of those offers that you enroll in actually get redeemed at the register as long as it's integrated with Astro. So that's a pretty good idea too. The other stuff that I would look at is like how many RSVPs can you get to this Facebook event? How many actual customers can you get inside the store? And how many like open rates as well for all of your emails leading up to it. Like that's going to give you a decent idea of maybe what you can expect. The other thing that I do from an ROI perspective is make sure that you really like have an idea of I think what you can realistically do from an inventory perspective. So it is not a good idea to overbuy or underbuy if you can help it, And I know that's tricky, but like if you know that you had a pretty big neighborhood pet store day last year and you feel like your marketing was like not as good as it could have been, then it reasons to say that you should have a pretty big day this year. And if you want to allow people to like really buy all of the things that they want to buy, make sure that you have enough inventory to support your sales goals, I would say.
Fantastic. And that should be really, the at the end of the day, the outcome that you're looking for is that way you can measure and benchmark for yourself Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, in November, just 2 months later, and really use that data to drive your decision and planning for the next year. So all of those efforts that you're making now will count. So What are some tools or resources for retailers that can make it easier for them to execute? I know you mentioned Astro. What else can retailers leverage?
Certainly social media, like organic social is free, right? And I know that there was a question in the chat about ads and boosting from Eric, right? I agree. Boosting ads on Facebook I don't think it's as effective as it used to be. And I've heard a lot of people, not just in pet retail, but in like broader marketing circles, say that if you don't have this really cohesive marketing plan attached to your ad spend on Facebook and Instagram, that just like boosting a post here and there is like throwing money down the drain. I do kind of agree with that. I do also think that specifically boosting an event is different than like just boosting content. The event has like a really specific call to action. Boosting content where you might just be getting like some engagement, some likes, some comments, like that doesn't necessarily give me or the business anything, right? But boosting an event, if I can get people to RSVP, if I can get people to come to this event, if I can then get them to buy some stuff, sign up for my email list, become a loyal customer down the road, like to me, that's a decent way to spend 50 or 100 bucks. I'm not, again, not saying that you have to spend like 1,000 on this. As far as like other tools, I really like live and die by this calendar, this marketing calendar. And I think you need to have that leading up to a big event. I think you need to have that for your entire Q4. And if you can, like every quarter of the year. A lot of our retailers are planned like 3, 6, 9 months out in advance. So we've been thinking about Neighborhood Pet Store Day for like a month now and making sure that we can get those partnerships set up, that we've already reached out to those adoption orgs or those shelters and we're like, hey, do you want to, get in on this event with us? And if they are busy that day or they can't, then we have enough time where we're not scrambling and we can get ahead of it and try and get somebody else in there. So that calendar is super important. If you can put together a checklist, like really anything to like help you from an organizational standpoint, I think that's pretty important too. And we've talked a lot about Astro. Astro just makes it fairly quick with like some ready-made assets. You don't have to like pull an image from here and upload it there. It's relatively easy to use. I think the other things I think about when it comes to maybe some of those roadblocks to success, focus on like a few things. Like don't overload yourself. It's like for us, like we really focus on like 3 channels for an event. It's email. Email's a really big one. Social media, generally the other big one, and then in store. And the issue is like if you have one of these working but not the other two, or two of them working but not the third, it's definitely not as effective. We have to understand that today's pet parents are so inundated with noise, right? It's marketing, it's social media, it's coming from everywhere all the time. And you kind of have to like join that like stream and cut through it a bit. And if you are only trying to do that on social media, or you're only trying to do it on email, or you're only doing it in store, your chances of like actually getting through to them lower significantly unless you're doing it on all 3 of these channels. So I would say like focus on just those 3 channels. Like don't worry so much about other types of marketing really. And don't try and do too much. I know we talked about okay, offers, we talked about in-store experiences, talked about partnerships. Like you're going to get offers through Astro. Maybe you just focus on like one in-store experience and maybe one partnership rather than like try and do too much and get 3 in-store experiences that are only going 2 hours for the day of. I just think that adds a lot of chaos and complexity, and I would rather go for something a little bit simpler. Last thing I think is like a lot of what I've said today, I don't think like a ton of it has to cost a whole lot, right? Like you can get a really cheap photo backdrop from anywhere. Some people make their own, like you can get these fun little cardboard cutouts that can be kind of branded and decorated your way, and those can be good for creating user generated content and encouraging people to post on social and share it that way. Costume contests like parades, like raffle baskets from donated items, like these are not expensive ways to enhance the in-store experience. Astro as well is also super duper affordable. I know I've said Astro like 1,000 times today, but it is affordable. So
And it's easy to get started.
true.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of getting started, for someone who hasn't planned anything yet, because I want to make sure we leave time for Q&A, what's the very first step they should take today that's actionable for them and is going to move them closer towards, having a very successful neighborhood pet store day if they hadn't taken that step, right?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take like a card from your deck, Yolanta, and just say you have to commit to it. Like, say you're going to do neighborhood pet store day. Your goal is going to be to break a sales record there. If you fall short, okay, it's a learning experience, but I hope it's a really big day anyways. So that's step one. Like, let's just do that mentally. Let's say, okay, we're going to do neighborhood pet store day this year. The next step I would say is like pick an offer or an experience or some kind of partnership. Like a lot of the issues that like the roadblocks to success that people mentioned in the chat earlier were like, well, I don't have necessarily have enough space, don't necessarily have enough time, not totally sure what to do on this. I think I've shared like a bunch of different ways of like what to do and how to do it. As far as time goes, you need a calendar, right? You need your promo calendar. It should outline like, okay, I want to make sure that this email goes out 3.5 weeks before, and this email goes out 2 weeks before, and my letter from the owner goes out 1 week before, and then my final thing goes out 3 days before, and then my day of goes out on Saturday the 27th. Like that promo calendar, I think if you can just like put some pen to paper and mentally commit to it and say, okay, I need these 5 emails. I need a social post every day for the 2 weeks leading up to it. And I have it all set on this calendar. It's going to go from feeling like this huge task to something that I can just like block out a little bit of time on in the next 35 days and knock out. And so that's like the biggest first step, I would say. Like just commit to it and then get a calendar going.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I do, what's one word of encouragement for retailers who are looking to make this neighborhood pet store day their most profitable day of the year?
Start small, right? Like if you're just starting on it, like I said, don't try and do too much, one offer, one experience, one partner, things like that. And just remember, like the Astro offers, those are all the icing on top, right? Like neighborhood pet store day is not about the offers and the discounts. It is about creating a memorable experience that customers can't get anywhere else. So really lean into that, right? Like you have this community built around the store. It is an opportunity to celebrate your store and the community. So yeah, I know we covered a ton today, right?
And speaking of resources, I want to share
Yes.
with everybody Matt Aldrich here of Pet Engine Marketing has something special for all of you. Where can attendees go if they want more help putting together their neighborhood pet store day and Q4 strategy based on everything they've learned today?
Yeah, scan the QR code. It will basically allow you to book some time on my calendar for 30 minutes. I will review your neighborhood pet store day marketing, and we can talk more about your Q4 if you want. But the reality is like neighborhood pet store day doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It is this kickoff to Q4, and that's for most retailers, it's like the single most important stretch of the calendar year. So again, I'm like a big believer that in-person and in-store events should be like this regular part of your annual marketing plan. I do believe that they maximize like that human to human, human to pet, human to business relationship that you guys all develop and invest in. So if you do want some help putting some of this into action, love to invite you to book a call with me. There's no pressure whatsoever. I have opened up some availability the first week of September. We can review your marketing plans for neighborhood pet store day and rest of Q4 and hopefully set you guys up for what is like should be a record-breaking sales day and hopefully like your most profitable quarter of the year.
Thank you so much, Matt. And before we go into Q&A, I want to also invite everybody in the room. If you have enjoyed today's session and you would like more of this, we're actually doing monthly live discussions inside the Pet Industry Network that are being led by us as the co-founders, and then one of our PIN members leading that expert discussion. And we have a really amazing lineup through Q4. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss a thing, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and grab this link and join us at petindustry.network.com/waitlist to make sure you don't miss any of the action. And again, I want to thank Matt so much for dedicating this time to share expertise at such a very timely, leading up to Neighborhood Pet Store Day. Like we are exactly about 1 month out, 37 days, and everyone here in the room can benefit from everything that you've learned today and start taking action right now. And the wonderful news is you don't have to do it alone. Matt Aldrich is here as your guide, as your expert to support you in this process. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in case anyone needed to grab that QR code again. Make sure to book that 30-minute call with Matt Aldrich and really maximize on everything that you learned today. Because if anything, at bare minimum, you're going to walk away from that call with tremendous amount of clarity on how to apply what you learned today into your specific pet business. So thanks again so much, Matt, for your time today.
Honestly, my pleasure. Like if this helps one retailer have a way bigger neighborhood pet store day than this year than last year, then it is a success for me. Truly, that's it. That's all I'm really looking to get out of this.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and open up to questions. We actually had a couple of them come through. So let's see here. We have. So Alexa has mentioned, do you see a problem with having our neighborhood pet store day event on Sunday, the 28th, due to a competing event on the 27th? And I don't think Alexa's the only person who mentioned that. I saw someone mention that in Cape Cod, there's a Doxy Day happening on the same day. So it's something that's impacting a couple of people in the room here.
I think it depends a little bit, you know. Specifically for the Doxy Day one, I would wonder if maybe you can partner with them in some way. Like maybe you want to sponsor their event and it encourages everybody with a little dachshund to come then go to your event. That seems like a win-win for everybody. The other like side of it, like a different competing event, having it on Sunday, I really think it does depend on what the event is. You could make it a weekend thing rather than a day. Some of those offers are only just for that day for Astro. But if you are focused more on the experience and the in-store events and things like that, then I don't necessarily see why it couldn't be on Sunday. I would also look at like your customer data. Like, do you naturally get more shoppers on Saturday or Sunday? And that would influence my decision too. Like I want to make this a really huge day and use it to get as much out of it as I can, you know? Like if you only have one day of these experiences, then I want to like make this day huge and like really go above and beyond. So I would think about the benefits of just having it on a single day versus like stretching it out for a weekend. And I don't always feel that way. Like for specific sales, you know, like a just a promotion on an item or a category or brand, I do think that a minimum weekend or a long weekend or even like a week or 2 weeks is always going to outperform like a one-day sale, even a flash sale. Like that is normally the case. But on an event like this, when you are bringing in other experiences and maybe other partners, I want to cram it all into one day and just maximize that day. Like I want to get 150 people in the store in a 6 or 7 hour period, and I just want it to be crazy all day. Like the energy that creates is awesome. Really awesome.
Fantastic. I'm looking through the chat to see if we have any other questions before we close out today. And we did get a couple of questions regarding getting access to the replay. That's going out tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned for that.
We've got one down here that just happened. Are you scrolling up and looking at the past?
Yes, but let's go
Okay.
ahead and grab Kate's question. So, Neighborhood Pet Store Day coincidentally falls on our store birthday. We have piggybacked the two things for the past 2 years. Should we separate them and do the birthday another day? Well, our resident expert of in-store event marketing, Matt, what's your take on that?
Good, really good question. I think it's possible to, like, consumers go through fatigue. They definitely do after the holiday season, where it's like, okay, January hits, I no longer want to spend any money. That is a real thing. So given your store's birthday at that time of year and knowing that Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, as well as like the Halloween weekend fall kind of like one after another, it is a valid concern. The reason why I feel like it's a good idea to maybe separate those two things is like your store birthday is like another big event where you could like do all of these things that I talked about for Neighborhood Pet Store Day, right? Like partnerships, experiences, offers, like reach out to vendors. If you don't have Astro offers, you reach out to your vendor partners and get specific deals for that day or that event. So like that's a big thing that you should take advantage of. I think if you can time it appropriately, maybe you combine it with like the Halloween weekend so that customers are basically getting like a big sale opportunity in the month of September and another big sale opportunity and experience in the month of October. And then they finally get into Black Friday Small Business Saturday. I think like those 3 days across 3 months is a good idea. But I think if you do them like too close to one another, then I think it's going to reduce the effectiveness of each of them. Like you're going to be splitting the audience. You also have to kind of get an idea of like how frequently your customers shop. Like a lot of our retailers, the majority of their customers are shopping maybe once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks. Then you have like those great customers who are in there every week. Some customers who are also in there like every 2 weeks, right? But the large portion of your customer base, they're in there, 4 to 6 weeks. So if you like create too many opportunities in that natural shopping cycle, then yeah, they get some fatigue or they're just like, oh, I don't necessarily have to go to this event because they're going to do this thing again in 2 weeks and I can just deal with it then, right? So I really want to maximize that day and probably put like a month between them if I can.
Amazing. And in terms of resources, if anyone before they head out wants to grab any ideas that they saw shared inside the chat, I'm going to shout out Jeff, who mentioned that members of Indie Pet can get discounts through its membership from the manufacturer members. So that's another good deal that you can take advantage of. We're all about helping everybody make the most of this Neighborhood Pet Store Day. So thank you so much for that, Jeff. And yeah, we are super excited to definitely share this replay with all of you. If you have any follow-up questions, Matt, how are they going to reach you?
You can go to my booking link, which was already in the chat. You can also email me at jet@petenginemarketing.com. That's in the chat. You can also go to our website and check out a little bit more about what we do. That's petenginemarketing.com. And yeah, if you do want to book,
I got the
I
link
guess
for you right here.
yeah, happy to chat about your Neighborhood Pet Store Day plans, your Q4 plans. Happy to learn a little bit more about your store in general. And yeah, that's how you reach me. It's been such a pleasure. I appreciate all the audience participation, all the ideas that you guys have shared. Remember, the the indie retailer community is truly a community, and you guys can lean on each other a lot. And it's by sharing ideas and knowledge like this that we help make our stores better. And yeah, continue to do that. Keep an eye on what the Pet Industry Network does. We're always providing content like this for pet businesses like yours, and hope to see you at the next webinar. Appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks so much, Matt. And thank you everybody for joining us today. We are super excited to see you all back here next month for our next webinar and through Q4. So make sure to stay tuned to all that. And lots of snaps coming through in the chat for you, Matt. Lots of thanks and praise. Thank you all. We appreciate it's our honor to serve you guys and share, information sharing is power. And we are also beyond information. We're here to help you execute and implement and make these strategies work in your pet businesses. So thank you so much, everybody. And thanks, yeah, Matt, thanks for all the attendees.
Yeah,
Absolutely. All right, let's go rock on Neighborhood Pet Store Day, everybody.
let's do it. I better see some social content starting soon.